Hi BC, Dave back with you again. Yeah, it's just about a day or two since my last video, but I just want to show some really nice finds I'm after making. Some finds I made yesterday, in fact. I'm just down home visiting my parents again, down in my childhood home for a couple of days. Um, Stopped off in a town along the way. I've spoken about this place quite a lot. A town called Bantry. There's a fair in the main square of this town every Friday. You can find pretty much just about. It's like a big open air flea market basically, plus with all kinds of things like chickens and stuff as well for sale. But anyway, usually there's somebody selling vinyl. Um, stop, got the bus down, stopped off on the for stayed there for a few hours, and lo and behold, there was a guy selling off his collection. This huge amount of vinyl. This kind of old hippie guy. There's a lot of people, this town Bantry and the surrounding area here has, since the 70s, attracted a lot of people who I suppose would be known as hippies or kind of alternative lifestyle. Just people coming, just artistic kind of, a lot of artists in that kind of time. Anyway, this fellow was selling off his vinyl collection. He had about 30 or 40 records. I had a good look, some really nice stuff. He said he was already after selling loads of stuff already earlier in the day. He wanted €5 each. There's a load of stuff I left behind. There's a lot of stuff that I wanted to grab, but I ended up getting 5 records. I got it down to €20, so I basically got one free. I'll just show you. Sleeves are a little bit musty. I left them out in the sun yesterday, but the vinyl on all of these is in really, really nice condition. So this is an album of music from Afghanistan, musique classique and populaire d'Afghanistan. I believe this is a French release. Which label is this on? Yeah, I'll just show you. This is an array of all the kind of weird and wonderful instruments, and check out that. It's like a kind of a giant sitar. Obviously, this was produced, and anyone who knows anything about the recent history of Afghanistan will know that this definitely was not produced after 1979. So, yeah, it was recorded. I think it was released in about 75, maybe. And oh, yeah, I actually have the wrong record inside because I took the records out. Sorry, just 2 seconds. Yeah, I'd taken the records out of the sleeves just while I was drying the sleeve, kind of letting the sleeves dry off a bit because they're a little bit damp. Yeah, this is a French label. Not 100% sure what the label is, but Society, yeah, distributed by Société Française de Productions. Yeah, it's some sort of what would now, I suppose, be called world music kind of label or ethnographic kind of a label. But yeah, I believe this came out in about 75. I have not been able to listen to any of these because there's no record player at my folks' house. In fact, there isn't even a CD player. So, yeah, delighted with this to pick this up. Now, this guy had a lot of jazz, an awful lot of jazz records, and was, with my limited budget, it really was a kind of a I was in a real dilemma as to what to leave behind or what to pick up, but I picked this up. Eddie Harris, Instant Death. Eddie Harris, saxophone player, played a lot, worked with Miles Davis a lot. This came out in '72, and this is on Atlantic. I'll just show you the very nice record sleeve there. Yeah, so very pleased with that. I'm really looking forward to playing these when I get back home. This is something I picked up largely because of the cover. I don't really know much about this band, but A New Life, the Marshal Tucker Band. Fantastic, fantastic cover art. I think this is possibly sort of southern rock or country rock. No idea if this is my cup of tea or not. It came out in 1974 on Capricorn Records. I think somebody had shown this kind of recently in the BBC. Can't think who now, but yeah, largely on account of the cover that I grabbed that. Yeah, I had a few Miles Davis records. I ended up grabbing two. Miles Davis Quiet Nights. This is in collaboration with Gil Evans. It's from, I believe, yeah, it's from about early 60s, 63, 64 on CBS, and where we went down a kind of a bossa nova Latin route. I'm not sure. Not sure if it's the first pressing, but it's pretty early pressing. I would say. And really, the discs on all of these are in really nice shape. So just bear with me 2 seconds. Chainsaw going there in the background behind me. There's some woods behind me there. And this is one I've been on the lookout for. Miles Davis might someday my prince will come. This features among others John Coltrane. This is about 60, 61, 62. Now this appears to be some sort of I don't know, is it a promo, or it's got quite an unusual label. I'll just show it to you there. Yeah, that's quite. I actually hope this turns out to be the right record, because doesn't have the name of the record or artist or anything on it. Just this yellow label saying legaler import. So yeah, a bit of an unusual one. So bear with me. Yeah, so that was yesterday's vinyl finds. €20 in total for that lot. So I think I did pretty well. The Afghanistan LP, I think alone goes for something kind of close to that. Generally, there's quite a few charity shops or stroke thrift shops in this town in Bantry, and I had a good look through all of them. There's only one in which I made some finds, but they're pretty nice finds. Now I found a big bunch of cassettes, but first off, I picked up this CD, Keith Jarrett and Charlie Haden piano double bass. This is a fairly recent Last Dance on ECM. This only came out a few years ago, in 2014. So yeah, really happy to find this. A recent release. Just €1. In the same charity shop there was a whole bunch of cassettes which were all Irish folk music, Irish traditional folk music. The Chieftains, Chieftains 3 on Island. These are all 50 cent. This is some sort of ballad thing, Irish rebel songs. Probably wouldn't be quite so much my cup of tea, you know, ballad, kind of rebel ballads, but I picked it up anyway. The Irish Balladeers. Na Cosig, Féad an Ular, which is all in Gaelic. Na Cosig, it's family. Basically, Na Cosig is Irish for Cassidy. This came out in '84 on the Gael Lynn label. This is unusual. This is like a private release. Hammy Hamilton with it's called the Money Husk. Yeah, it's like a kind of a private release on cassette, with quite an interesting, you know, from an Irish traditional music point of view, quite an interesting lineup, including Peadar Ó Riada, the son of the legendary Sean Ó Riada. Sean Davey, The Relief of Derry Symphony. This is kind of more kind of classical music, stroke kind of classical music with an Irish traditional folk influence as well. Sean Davey composed the Brendan Voyage, and this came out in 1990. This also has the late Liam O'Flynn on uilleann pipes. Now this is an interesting one. Paddy Keenan and Artie McGlynn. Paddy Keenan is a legendary uilleann piper. Uilleann pipes are these kind of well, they're not bagpipes, but they're pipes which are played kind of with the bag under your armpit like that. I told a story before of how I met this guy years ago, and yeah, a very talented musician, but not a guy who I'd have high praise for as an individual. It was kind of weird because I was looking at the lineup on this album, and I had to laugh when I saw this. On drums is a guy called oh, what is his name again? I'm sure I saw his name here somewhere. No, maybe I was mistaken. Yeah, forget it. Anyway, okay. Yeah, okay. So that's my haul. That's my haul from yesterday. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching, everybody. And I hope you all have a great weekend.